to this video where we talk about Canaletto's 18th century works. So who is Canaletto? Of course, we can all just look up a simple summary of him, but just to give a little bit of background before we take a deep dive into his works, I'd like to add that he was a very notable artist and painter born in Venice, Italy. So what made him so famous was the usage of really innovative artistic techniques that would illustrate Venice architecture and canals and make it very much look as if it was a photo. That's actually what really interested me in his works. I saw one of his paintings and I really thought that that was a photo taken on a camera. They're absolutely amazing and so realistic, but we'll look at that later. And so, like I mentioned before, the architecture, the canals, it all really had to do with cityscapes and atmospheric views. And his work grew very popular among English patrons in London, and he did live there for several years. And a fun fact that I'll talk about later is a lot of his works are still located in London, even though he was from Venice himself. And then these are just a couple of his artistic techniques, but we'll definitely talk about these later. The chiaroscuro, atmospheric perspective, and geometric harmony. So this is the first work that I'm going to be looking at today. I mean, wow. When I saw this, I just literally thought it was a photo. You can see the amazing usage of different colors, just a slight change in the color to really make the cloud look so realistic. And one thing that he was also known for was right here where the sky meets these beautiful pieces of architecture. He was very famous for almost perfecting that. I mean, the atmospheric perspective in this painting is absolutely remarkable. And all these little details on the buildings, just these arches, these little columns here, you can see it all. And even though the image is not, well, I want to say image, but really painting, is not symmetric, you can see the geometric harmony, all the proportions are very on point. And then besides the buildings, I want to talk about the figures in the image. So here we can see the people. He uses soft fluid lines to really draw the movement. And if you notice the light reflecting off of the water, making those little waves really realistic. And you can just tell that these people are in motion and doing a lot of work, which is something that I'd like to add about the symbolism of this photo. So, or I keep wanting to say photo. It's not a photo. It is very much a painting that looks exactly like a photo. This was so significant because it almost showed how prosperous Venice was. He was almost trying to advertise the city of Venice, and show like we have these people, we're in a place of prosperity socially, economically, we're doing great. And also the fact that he was an artist from there definitely does help. So you can see the colors are mostly just the browns and the blues. It's, of course, mostly blue. You can see the different shades, and then you have these little pops of red in the like attire of the people, these little hats that really make them stand out. And also add to the fact that they're in motion since you immediately notice them. And I would say that nothing is the central figure of this photo, but the composition is very balanced and very well done, making this look absolutely realistic in every sense. This painting just amazes me. This is the next piece that I want to look into. Same artist as we talked about. Both are from the 18th century, both are oil on canvas. And here, this is Accession Day in Venice, the Grand Canal, so very famous place. This was a very popular day for them. It was a day filled with festivities, and here you can see how detailed each figure is. I mean, they're just so small, but he uses so much detail, and again, with the little pop of red here and there to help them stand out in these huge crowds. It's truly amazing. And like I said before, his almost perfection of having where the building meets the sky and showing that, okay, the building is closer up and the sky is behind it. So really using that atmospheric perspective, that idea, keeping everything harmonized, and everything looks great. You can tell that these buildings are further behind with that usage of atmospheric perspective. And you can see these people all coming together in motion. You can tell these boats are in motion because he uses those soft lines to depict the ripples in the water and really keep those colors realistic. We can see here that this is maybe a little bit more of a gloomy day compared to this one where you see the sun light brightly. That's also chiaroscuro, a usage of that technique where the light here is very prominently on the buildings. You can see that, and then the shadows of the boats or the people. And then here you can see it's maybe a little bit of a gloomier day, so those shadows are a little bit darker, as you can see them right here. And again, all this use of light and shadow really adds to the realism of both of these photos. They look absolutely amazing and so realistic, and you can see like the light pink here stands out compared to the rest of the more dim colors, and the rest of the painting is depicted in a little bit of a lighter light. And last thing I want to mention about this photo or painting is that it was also showing their prosperity. I mean, look how many people are coming out. They have their canals, they're all coming out. There's beautiful architecture. He is a great painter to be advertising this architecture, and it's just truly wonderful and amazing. So a couple last things I want to add is he contributed greatly to bringing back view paintings, which were called veduta in Italian. I might be saying that wrong, but that means view. And I thought that was really cool because he brought back this genre. And this is, of course, a photo of him. He first trained with his father, who was also a painter, and then later studied other artists. And then we already discussed why he became famous for his amazing work that looked almost like a photo. He worked successfully as an artist for 45 years. And it's just truly remarkable, the things that he's done. And if you're wondering, where can you see his work? It's mostly in England at the National Gallery in London and also a little bit in the Windsor Castle. And it's actually interesting to note, even though he was from Venice and a lot of his paintings were depicting places in Venice, only very few can be found in these two places. So that's interesting to note, but yeah, we discussed why, because he grew very popular in London. And finally, these are my sources. These are the websites I used. And then here is the journal that I used and the books that I have cited as well and used. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope my video was informational, and I hope you enjoy looking at his paintings as much as I do and somehow trying to understand how they're not photos, but they are paintings. Thank you so much.